Stream. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you are having a lovely day. Hope you're having a lovely week. The weekend is coming soon. Hope you have plans for you know more grinding, more working, and more chasing of your goals and other fun stuff like that, or boring stuff like that. Whichever one favors you the most. So today we're going to do a continuation of the study stream that we were doing yesterday. Please, if you're just reaching here or just arriving, please just give the video a like. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 2K, and I really want to appreciate every single one that has subscribed. I checked today, and we've just hit 1,700, I think, or we are just almost there. So I really appreciate every single one of you that are subscribed. We're trying to get to 2K, so just if you haven't subscribed, please just check and make sure you subscribe. Thanks, I appreciate it. And also, if you haven't clicked the like button, please, one more time, do so. Appreciate it. Yeah, so today we're just going to have a quick stream, I think. Hopefully I drove faster today because yesterday I was just dilly-dallying. And some of my friends came in and we just had a chat. Also, today I did a stream with my friend Dio. It was just a random stream about art and stuff. Nothing major, but we're just chilling and drawing, and just sort of wanted to check out like what's the time, what time is sort of best to sort of stream, and that's just what we did today. And you can go and check it in his page. I should put the link in the description. I'll do that later on. I should have planned better. Today we're just going to do some more drawings of see me. We should. All right, we're back on. I swear, man, I'm a grandpa. Like, I just don't ever get this stuff, man. It's like if there's just a little internet interruption. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, we're back. So as I was saying, what I really like about his work is his hatching lines. His hatching lines are quite light, and he kind of uses an outside line to direct his shadows. So what I mean by that is, like, he could have a face like this. Oh my god, that's too. Let me use my pencil. He could have a simple face like this, and then draw a head, right? And then he has his neck like this, and of course, there's usually shadow under the neck, beneath the neck, right? And most times, rather than just filling it with black, what he does is that he's just going to use a line to sort of direct the shadow, and then just do something light over the shadow like this. And then depending on the intensity, he could do another line over here like this, and just do a cross hatch like this, and just make it recede into the neck. I hope that is visible. And that's one thing I like about, and it's so light and clean. That's one of the things I'm going to study. I didn't exactly copy that exactly here, but I did adopt some of it over here in these illustrations that I did yesterday. We'll spend too much time on the past. Let's move on to the future. Possibly doing some studies. Let me just get one from the cover so that let's just look at it. His works are really good. I like his illustrations. If you've checked his art book, they look really nice. He did art book for the story Slam Dunk. So I'm just going to quickly apply. Apply this. I'm going to use the normal simple shapes that I usually use. As you can see, his torso is kind of bent, so I'm just going to try and follow that. um, I don't know how light it is, whether you're seeing it or not. I'm going to draw boulder. Hello Kevin Hibbert, how you doing? Hope you're having a nice day. Hope the day is going well. Hope you can hear me. I'm just doing a quick study of Inue's work. I hope you can see what I'm doing as well. So I'm just drawing some of his works, not copying it verbatim. Well, trying to copy it, and in the process of copying it, try to understand how he works. Yeah, and you know, yeah, that's it's an exercise. It's an exercise I usually do to like improve my own art, so that whenever I can build a good muscle memory in terms of understanding how these artists usually apply different techniques when doing comic books, because I do comics and I'm always trying to improve. So that's just what is going on here. So I'm just using simple shapes to sort of break down this pose of the main character in the story. And I usually start light so that I don't make a lot of mistakes when I'm walking. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm breaking down his body part. I've been doing a bit of anatomy studies, so I've been getting better at breaking down like anatomy um, these days. So yeah, that's generally the aim of the video. I'm going to do an illustration, then move on to the next illustration, and see how far I get with it. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to take a look at what I've done. um Hope you had a nice day at work, Kevin, or school, or whatever it is that you do. Hope the new year is treating you well, even though the new year has been a couple of months now. Hope your family is good, and things are moving in the direction you want in terms of life. It doesn't usually work that way, but I hope it is for you. Anyways, just adding the shirts. Initially, what I wanted to do was just like do his body, but I just think that would just be too much. So I'm just putting his basketball jersey. I'm trying not to go so detailed. Ideally, to be nice to just to go as detailed as possible. But I'm just going to pick certain things and select, because I'm not just influenced by one artist. I'm influenced by several artists. So there are certain things in their art that I like or prefer in comparison to these artists. So that is sort of those things that I like about the art is sort of what I tend to focus on. And in this case, it's his hatching. I like his hatching lines. I like how light they are. But then when I then look at guys' work like David Finch, then I kind of backpedal a bit, because David Finch has this hard lighting about his work. Hard lighting. Did I say hard lighting? Hard edges with like the blacks, like Western comic book artists. A lot of them, in comparison to um, Japanese comic book artists, they use a lot of hard lights, and their style is quite different. They have like a lot of big eyes and stuff. And I'm seeing that even these days, like it's been adapted into a lot of Western comic book art. Like guys like Jorge Jimenez and co. They usually use a lot of. They have like cartoony style, but you can still see that Western influence still being there. Like Dan Mora and co. So I don't want to do this here, man. I can't lie. But I'm just going to break down the face with simple structure drawing. Just break that down and make it easy on myself. I have a lot. I want to do more drawings today than I did yesterday. Yesterday I was quite lax with the things I did. You know what? I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to come and detail it a bit more because it's quite rough and I don't want that. Anyway, I'm just drawing his deltoid now and like the muscles of his arm and his lower arm as well. Then his lower arm. And as simple as that. Well, yeah. So that looks okay. Um, it looks fair. Let me just see if I can make it look better. Let me see if I can make it look better. If you're just joining me, please just hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please just subscribe. Um, I heard a breaking news that it's free to subscribe. You don't have to pay any money. So help a brother out. I'm trying to get to 2K subscribers. So it would be really nice if you could help me out with that goal. Yeah, so just doing his mouth now. I like to leave the drawings of my references far back so that I can get the entire image. Um, because if I zoom in a lot, I could just get confused and just narrow down on just one thing, which is not good for the drawing. And it's not a good practice. I learned that when I was doing portrait drawing, when I first started. Anyways, I just realized that I was making a horrendous mistake with the face over here, and I'm going to correct that now. So no matter how much of the art fundamentals you know, you're still going to be making errors. And yeah, we have that here, and the ear. Then I'm just going to add the hair. Like, I'm going to add the hair real quick. I'm going to add the hair, and then yeah. So we have the brow ridge over here. So let's test how good I am with this. Let's see if I do something nice or if I make a mistake. You can see his art style is quite realistic. If it were other manga artists, they'll just draw like a simple nose or just simple L over at this angle. They'll get the angle correctly, and probably when they are lighting it, they just add more detail. But he makes it a bit more realistic, and that is why he's like one of my favorite manga artists because his style is kind of close to Western comic book artists, and I just like that. Not that I have anything against the traditional anime style of drawing. It's just my preference. Yeah, I think I'm making a humongous error here with what I'm drawing. I don't think it's looking good. Wow, really embarrassing myself, you know. Not looking good, not looking good. You know, that's a tough angle to draw though. That's a tough angle to draw, now that I'm looking at it. Anyways, I'm going to leave that like that. Yeah, it looks alright, man, to me. It can be improved upon, but that looks alright to me. I'm going to leave it like that. Let me just add the hair. I guess the hair will help me cover for the monstrosity I've done. Yo, hello, Taton Barbie doll. Nice to meet you. I hope you're having a nice day. I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I'm trying to improve. I was just struggling here for a moment with the angle because this head is a bit tilted, and I was embarrassing myself over there. But I'm glad you think I'm good. I appreciate it. Uh, just going to add the volume of the hair. Hope you're having a nice day, Barbie doll. Hope things are going well. Hope work or school, whichever one it is that you're doing, is also well, and the family as well. Um, I'm just doing a quick study stream over here. Um, because I kind of believe like the best way to improve is to study people that you admire, whether it's arts, music, or sports. It's good to have your reference group, the people that you sort of look up to. And the way I improve is that I just have people that I copy, and that I look up to them and copy. By improving, I copy what they've done and try to note the artistic choices and preferences that they make. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. And I'm going to be doing more series like this with other comic book artists and artists in general, whether they be portrait artists or whatever. You can always leave a recommendation of an artist that you like, that you want me to check out, and I'll try and check them out and see um, if I can add them to the list. Yeah, you're welcome, Babido. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, right. So his face, there are no much hatches. It's just his eyebrow area. Um, and then he used a bit of color for the mouth and shadows. And then under the neck, beneath his neck, you can see there's a bit of hatching lines. I don't know if you can see it clearly. I'm going to expand it a bit. There's a bit of hatching lines, and so I'm going to copy that since I'm like detailing beneath his neck. So you can see it's covering with the form of his face. And then beneath his ear as well, light direction, remember. And how am I doing? And then his neck, his neck muscle, you can see it as it's going down. He's just insinuating it, not doing much, um, and just putting a bit of hatching lines. Um, so when you look at this in black and white or in pure ink, it's going to look very nice. So he also has most artists, you can see his clothes in this shoulder area, right? And then like the clothes is going because of the wind and his motion, like, on his body. You can see that um, like there's definitely going to be shadow beneath his clothes here. So what most artists would do is that they'll just simply, based on the how his clavicle is, like, they're just going to follow that and then follow the shadow and then fill this with black and be done with it, which is a very an okay choice. But I don't think he likes filling something with black if it's not like a color. So what he does is that he's just going to select over that area and then just do a brief hatching line, like with the inking, something simple like that. I'm sorry, because I'm streaming with my phone, like it just keeps some messages just keeps entering, and it's my bad though. It's my bad. Should have sorted that out. Anyways, I'm going to just continue. If we keep skipping, I apologize for that. um I'm just going to keep going. Anyways, as you can also see, right, irregardless of, like, if you were to look at a red jersey, you're going to see some really dark areas. There are levels to how much darkness there is. But he doesn't do that. It goes back to the thing I was saying regarding how much detail he applies to the shirt. Now we're going to look at that later on, but I just want to get his body first so that I can move on to the next illustration. And I hope you can see this. Let me try and be faster, man. Right, so for the cloth over here, I actually applied black. um then put the stripes on the jersey. Just gonna leave that there like that. I'll keep on saying it. Like, look at this area. So we have his lats, and then some of his back muscles. It's really good to understand anatomy because it can help you. It can help guide you rather um, with the art style to like understand how it is drawn realistically, so that you can understand the art style that you're looking at, and what exactly the artist is actually, or what I say, the shortcuts that he's taking, and preferences he's making when doing his anatomy or composition or value studies. With regards to his hatching, the hatching lines I was talking about, that falls all under value, right? It falls all under value, and how he chooses to like create much more detail and form with his work, right? So you can see with the hatching in this his lat area, his latissimus dorsi, you can see how it's actually following the form of his lats, the roundness of the lats. And he doesn't add a lot of hatching lines. I'm sure, like, with the way manga artists, their schedule is, he could spend more time on it, but he has a lot going on, or had a lot going on at this time. All right, so you can see the intersection of hatching lines here and there. And same thing with this area. So this area has more darkness because it's a lot more darker, and you're going to see it's like the way it's covered. So this area here is where his coracle brachialis is going to be, I believe. Probably, maybe not, I don't know. My brain is a bit fried, I can't lie. Anyways, and then the hatching lines in this area, you can see how he's just sort of lightly guiding it with lines. Yeah, lightly guiding it with lines. And then, you know, simple as that. And depending on the form, it's also going to affect the the hatching, or the hatching technique that is being used. No matter the little decisions, you can try and just still study it and try to break it down. so that you kind of understand why he made that decision, if it's laziness or if it's whatever. Bro Dio, how you doing, man? Hope you are doing well. Hope you arrived home safely. Hope say you don't chop, because I know say that malt and biscuits that you had that time is what will sustain you till the end of the weekend. All right, I'm going to add this. Um, just quickly, trying to be fast, but I am trying to also be accurate at the same time. Said I'm fine. Yes, you have eaten. Well done, bro. I'm about to go to bed. Good night. Yeah, good night, man. I really appreciate you like still dropping in and sharing the love. Um, I appreciate, bro. Thanks. Have a nice sleep, man. Have a nice sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. Um, I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll do another live. By the way, Dio and I are going to have live tomorrow. Being the what? The 14th of the month, 14th of February 2026. Yeah, bye, man. Bye. So you can see he doesn't do too much with the hatching lines, and yeah, yeah. I kind of don't want to like do the hatching lines for the clothing, uh, because it's well, I should, but I don't want to. I'm just going to go to another piece of work. But anyways, I've gotten this one and I'm happy about it. I can check out this guy over here. Uh, they're not detailed enough, but they're still illustrations though. Now I'm just going to do another one. I'm just going to do something else. Another illustration that he's done. Rather, that's what I mean. So these are some of his colored pieces. I mean, he probably would have detailed them black and white, but I don't know, man. I want to see his comic. Yeah, so looking at a portrait like this, I actually like this. Um, the characters that are sweating, and the expressions. Like, this is what drew me to like reading his comic. Like the hatching lines, man, they're so good. They're so good, and how he just lines them up and just makes them look very good. Let me just try and get this first one. It's basically just drawing a realistic face, but his style is quite different from a lot of artists. So hope you can see what I'm doing over here. This is another tough angle. What I like also is that like he challenges, not necessarily like it's a challenge for him, but like he doesn't just do generic angles for his art or comic book pages. um he 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 does things that are well that are going to be challenging. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, this might not end up well, man. This might not end up looking good, but we'll still move forward with it. All right, so our lines. So we have our brow line over here, all the way down here, and then we have our nose coming all the way down like this, and then we have our mouth like this. I've never, I've never properly gotten how to like draw the head perfectly. Like I get the gist. Like I when I get a reference, I could just draw, like use a reference and then draw the angle until I get it and it looks perfectly, correct and whatnot. But to draw different angles by myself, like correctly, I won't lie, it's something I've not been able to be creative with. Anyways, adding the eyes, same way I draw my eyes every time. This is where what you've learned is going to be very handy. Very handy. And the eyes, since they're aligned together, just going to add this, do that like that, and then you can see the character is like he has all those sport expressions, has this surprised look, but still concentrated, focused on his goal. His characters have so much expressions, man. I can't lie. I should draw faster. Anyways, yeah, we've gotten that part. Then the nose, the way I draw my nose, um, like I do say, I just use. He said, Danny, I'm just gonna call you Dan. Dan Aiden. He said, when I'm so tired that I try to zoom in on a normal piece of paper. What are you referring to? I don't understand. By the way, hope you're having a good day, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Uh, I don't know if you just joined, but if you just joined, I'm just doing a study of Inue's work. Just like copying how he draws anatomy and stuff, particularly how he does hatches. Right, and this is a typical portrait. Portraits used to stress me out, man. Like I'm happy they don't these days. But you know what? I'm just going to lock in. Okay, you said sometimes you draw on both screen and on paper, and sometimes you're so tired you try to. Oh, right, 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 right. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Like, let me just show you this. Like on Sunday, when I was drawing, I drew, right. I was just doing quick studies, and I drew on the paper, and what I was trying to do, because even with these sketches, even though I apply the sketches lightly, I do that because I don't want to like make the first phase of the sketch look very rough, right? But then I was still working traditionally, and then there are some lines I made that usually I'll just undo on my pad. But then I tried doing that and I just caught myself and I was like, yeah, you're a sports man. You're a sports man. Like you've been spoiled by traditional art. So I just caught myself doing that. It happens. It happens a lot, man. It happens a lot. Hello, imagination. Nice to meet you again. Thanks for tuning in, bro. I really appreciate, man. Uh, Hope you're having a nice night. Thanks for taking the time to just say hi. I know it's quite late. Yeah, Dan. So yeah, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. It happens to me, especially since recently I decided I got a sketchbook and I decided to try drawing traditionally more often. It happens to me still. But the thing about it is that you just catch yourself immediately, and then you sort it out, and then you are suddenly aware. Even though it doesn't stop you from still like double tapping or looking for the keyboard to click on Control Z. It doesn't stop that from happening. Yeah. The reason why it's quite difficult to draw my sketchbook sometimes is because I might do like an okay art, and most of these sketches, I would like to keep them and preserve them, but you can't do that. Like you can't preserve their like quality. You can't sort of apply something on the sketchbook. I'm sure they exist, but like you can't always apply something that will just preserve the sketches that you've done um, for a long time. And yeah, that just discourages me sometimes from drawing traditionally. Yeah. But I noticed that because of the amount of studies I usually do, like when I do a lot of art study, a decent amount, not a lot, of art studies, I don't like I don't make as much mistakes as I made before when I was starting out, like drawing traditionally, right? I could just find a way, like because I sort of understand value, or well, a bit of it. You can just sort of maneuver it and just cover any mistake you've made with a shadow and just make it look like it's part of the work. I don't know if you do that as well. Dan. Anyways, I've sort of gotten this, even though it doesn't look like the character. I think it's close enough. Plus, the face is not complete. So I think this we're going to stick with this and the neck. Yeah. So now I'm going to add a bit more detail. Right. My goal in this area now is to study the hatching lines. Is to study the hatching lines and make the hatches look really good. So I'm just going to study his hatching lines and his inking. Essentially, well, inking. It's part of. You can see the line weight. Then the eyelid, his eyelid, and then the hatching line around the eyelid for depth. So there's that hatch, there's that shadow around the eye that actually gives it its roundness. So that's what it's adding there. And then so I'm just going to try and copy what he's doing here. I'll try not to be perfect so that we can move along quickly, because if we try and make it perfect, we're going to be here for a while. um and then the eyebrow, I'm just going to assume the character's eyebrow is like this, and this is something I noticed. Like, this is how he does his eyebrow. He doesn't do a lot of like make the eyebrow. I believe he did it in he does it, but like I believe he did it in Vagabond too, but he just makes it very simplistic. The rest of his art is realistic, but this eyebrow, I mean, I guess you can argue that it's realistic, but it's not as like realistic as like a real eye would be. It's not like I'm critiquing it. It's just a style that I'm noticing. All right, let me do the second eye. When drawing eye, it's usually advisable to just do the two eyes at the same time, so that you don't make a mistake. What has helped me here is that I've been able to get the proportions correctly of the eyes, even though it doesn't look like the character. But I'm glad that it doesn't look very skewed. Yeah, and you can see the curvature. I still haven't figured out his hatching completely. There's a way he does it sometimes that just, I can't lie, it baffles me. But anyways, it's looking decent. His nose, looks alright. Like I like that he actually puts the nostrils, man. Um, like it's not like a diss at other manga arts. It's just that sometimes the angles they just put it in. I know that a lot of time the apart from just artistic style, they are working based on time constraints. But I put the nostrils, man. Like nostrils are part of like being a human being. I've seen this like this edge of the nose, like where there is usually a highlight. You can just use your eraser to just spot it. To just like separate it is what I mean. Yeah. Now I'm seeing that the mouth could be closer together, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just feel bad that. Hello, Michael Radsi. Hello, Michael Radsi. Hope you're having a nice day. He said, "Can you help me with drawing a five-a-side outdoor mini ground for the kids to play soccer? Like, are you requesting like a commission, or you want me to sort of show you how it's done? I don't understand. Um, Five-a-side outdoor mini ground um, for the kids to play soccer. Like, are you talking about like painting, like something like a mural painting? Is that what you mean? Uh, I I don't know where you live, but I don't I stay in Nigeria, so I can't physically be there. But if you want me to draw it, I can do it. Yeah. So with the lips, like this, is why I really like his work, man. Like I believe he gets real references. So he could possibly be posing or something for himself. Uh, you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram or like any other social media platform or Twitter. Um, Michael. I'll just explain the details of what you need. Um, I'm always willing to assist. Anyways, if you look at the hatching of his lips, it's not like it's just a straight line like what I'm doing here, right? It looks like there's something else added to what he's doing. So like for this middle part of his lip, he has something like this because it's usually darker, first of all. That side of the lip is usually darker. And then um, so what he does, I believe, is that he just does something like this, and that can like confuse somebody that is trying to sort of get what he's doing. Especially since I personally don't know a lot about hatching lines. Well, I know a bit about hatching, but not a lot, right? So that was cool. So you can see a lot of hatching techniques, and you can see how thick this inner border line is. Um, that's because it's close to the teeth. And then for the teeth, if you watched a video where I talked about drawing the mouth, one thing I learned was that you could just easily make the error of just drawing the teeth like a piano, like keyboards, right? But you can just simply break it down like this so that you can get an even looking teeth, and then just just add something like this, right? Something like this, as simple as this, and then you have an okay looking teeth that looks realistic but doesn't look weird looking. Yeah, very simple. And then yeah, the hatching lines on his lips. Notice how it starts thick to thin, and then around this area too. So we've gone from, like, we've done a lot of adjustments in the inking phase, and I think it's looking in a way that is acceptable. And then because of the form of the lips, because what we've done here is that we've sort of made it look like a slab, like a flat, like a table. So what he just did is that I think he just like tried to follow the form of the lip, which is curved, and he just did this. So how much does it cost to get an equipment? Okay. Yeah, an equipment for drawing. It depends on what you want to do. But I work majorly I say traditionally. I work majorly digitally, and all my works are usually digital. And so like they print it, then they then print it into like merch or stuff like that. So like I got this iPad around I don't know what the price would be in dollars at the moment because I bought it here in Nigeria. So I got it for I think 1.5 million naira or so thereabouts with everything, including the pouch, and then the pen was around like 150K. But I believe in dollars, this iPad Pro, this is an iPad Pro 2022. So in dollars, I don't know, it'll probably be around $1,000, I think. And with the pen too, I think the pen would be around $150 or $200. The pen is quite important, so you need it. You could draw with your fingers, but the pen is also important. And that's what I use. Or you could just use your system and get a Wacom Intuos or Wacom Bamboo tablets and draw with that. I hope I answered your message. That's what you mean. But if you're talking about traditional equipment, I don't do traditional art, so I don't do like traditional arts that I sell. Like it's just on my sketchbook. So I just work. I work mostly digitally. I was doing traditional arts before, but I never like properly advanced in it. So I only just know how to sketch. When I did oil painting once in school, but that's about it. I never let myself like advance in it. So I don't know like the traditional equipment to use. Hope that was helpful. Anyways, you can see like he tried to make this bottom area of his the below his lip area a bit darker, because the closer you go towards a wrinkle or a crease on the face, the darker it becomes. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to do the rest of his face, because I think we've been quite good with so that we can try and hurry up and get to the other parts of his face. So I'm just trying to take note of the I'm trying to take note of his line weight. So you can see at this area it's a bit thicker, and there are some breakages with the inking. So he's not like inking everything all through. And look at this area, it's a bit more darker and the line is thicker. What I usually do is that I would just, because I wouldn't say I'm skilled enough to the point where I could just hatch away without guidance. So what I do is that, let me just bring this closer and hope you can see it. Like with the hatching lines over here in his face, uh, I'll just bring in, just do like okay, see from his cheekbone over here, the shadow or the hatching lines from his cheekbone. I'll just do it very lightly, and then what am I doing? Yeah, and just bring it down like this, very simply, and then copy his what he's doing. Yeah, my battery has just gone low. I hope the light doesn't just turn off, because my phone just went down. I just connect it to a charger. 20%. Hopefully it doesn't die. Yeah, so you can also use shadow to also direct focus in a piece. And as you can see, when you look at his face, you don't instantly recognize his ear. Um, and that's intentional usually, because you're focused on his expression. So he just puts a lot of shadow sort of on it, so that he's just directing you on where to focus rather. And once you've done like a couple of studies like this, you begin to like understand how these artists think. You may not figure it out exactly, but you just get a hang of, how their minds operate, sort of. This definitely needs to, because it sort of follows his head, the angle of his head, like this. So just have to adjust that. That was looking a bit skewed. Right, so I seriously need to get how he does this hatching, so that mine doesn't always look awkward. So we have this so let's see the direction of the hatching lines. So the first one is going like this. Yeah, the second one is moving like this. So it has you can see based on the thickness, it's yeah. And then there is another direction that it's being moved in, like this. So all these techniques and practices is what to give the art style the look that it has, and make the work, feel unique. And I've not gotten exactly how his art looks, but I mean, it's a poor imitation, but it's still, you know close to it. It's still close to it. And then with the shadow here, light direction, it's a lot darker than the rest of the hatching is more darker than the rest of the hatches around the face. Another thing is that he sort of made this edge darker based on how shadows look like that. Yeah, that's it. I think. What other thing? Yeah, the shadowing around his cheekbone area here, like this. And then to actually properly get the curve and like the hatching technique, it takes practice, I would say, because my hatching didn't look decent for a long time. It always looked rough, and most times, even to this day, I do intentionally make the hatching lines rough because I just can't be asked to um, like spend time on like technique and all that. So most times I just um, I just put that idea in the bin. Yeah, basically. Probably should make the face a bit wider. Don't always have to follow your sketch. Your sketch might be rubbish because that was a dumber version of you if you really think about it. Remember, when you do studies, it doesn't have to be perfect because you should always rely on volume. As much as you try to make it look good, of course, but don't try to make it perfect. I know, that's a bit weird given the fact that I'm spending a lot of time on this. Um, oh, hello, Dennis. You said, isn't the ear a bit too low? Actually, based on the angle, it isn't. It probably looks off on my end because I'm not getting it correctly. Um, but like based on the angle, it's correct. Like if you take a picture of yourself in this angle, you're going to see um, what I'm talking about. Like on my end, it looks weird because of the amount of attention I placed on the. Yeah, you're probably right. You're definitely right. The cheekbone, for instance, now should be higher. You're right on that. Um, Let me see. The cheekbone should be higher. The cheekbone should definitely be higher. I appreciate the observation. The cheekbone should be higher. But like the position of the ear isn't wrong. Um, I will admit I'm not good at this angle. Uh, but I have tried doing studies of the head in angles like this, and they always look weird and a bit difficult. But thank you for the input, Dennis. If you have more, always feel free to let me know. I'm not perfect, and I'm always willing to learn and take criticism. Anyways, yeah, I'll probably wake up and look at it tomorrow, and I will definitely hate it. But let me just add the sweat around it. Yeah, so I'm just adding the sweat, and you know, I always felt weird about adding sweat because I always took it too seriously. Because when you look at water, painting water and drawing water, it always looks so detailed, and sometimes I just overthink. Like when I'm drawing sweat or adding water or adding tears on a person, I always feel like it would look too basic. Like you see, like this sweat coming out of this character's body, face. It still looks cool, especially because of the art style. Anyways, I'm just going to move on to the next expression. And that was very slow of me, by the way. Yeah, so let's try this. So I'm going to try and use a simple shape to attack this one. I hope you can see it because I'm going very faint here. I'm going very faint here. I'm just trying to get the shape of the head. So I'm using a simple box. There are several ways that I could tackle it, but I just feel like using a box. And then, the area for his eyebrow, and then the nose. And because this is also a similar angle with this, because they're sort of stretching to hit a basketball. Um, and of course, we can always adjust the the proportions and the angles as we draw. You don't have to get it first time. Anyways, let me begin detailing. Let me do the eye. So I'm just going to do this small circle for the eye, right? It doesn't have to be so big. And then I'm going to just quickly do this. I guess my problem is that I'm trying to detail, make it look like the character. When really I shouldn't. Should I? I really shouldn't, because what I should be looking at is um how he's breaking down. You know what? I should. I actually should. I should try to get as close as possible to what he's doing, so that I can, get the results that he's getting. Anyways, his iris is quite wide, and the reason why he did that is to show how stressed the characters are, how much they are reaching. Yeah, so that's a good distance between the eye, and then you can see a lot of wrinkles. The artists that I've seen draw like the most outrageous looking wrinkles is David Finch. That when you look at those his Batman drawings with the mask, yeah, those are they look really scary. Or like a really angry monster, or like a drawing of Hulk that he has done. The characters just look very menacing, like with their wrinkles. Um, hello, hello, Hig Oswara. I'm just gonna call you Hig, man. Hello, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Um, Welcome to the stream. I'm just doing a quick study of Takehiko Inoue's Slam Dunk. I just picked some drawings there, and copying it to see how good I can get. I was doing this trick, well, not trick, this practice a while. So I just decided to kind of just do it live and just share it with people. But I also saw this this stuff being done in, I don't know if you've read the manga uh Bakuman. Bakuman, yeah. One of the main characters in Bakuman, like the artist out of the two. So Bakuman is about these two two guys who want to become manga artists, right? They want to get published at Shonen Jump magazine. So they are just, and they want to get an anime done before they turn a certain age, right? So what they did is that they joined together a writer and an artist. And one of the practices the artist guy usually did was that, so his uncle had a comic book, was a former manga artist, but he never really, became mainstream. He was never really successful. Um, but anyways, the main character, like the artist guy, what he usually does is that he could take poses from other artists to really study the manga art itself, right? To really study how they do it. He'll just take a page from maybe Dragon Ball Z and just draw it exactly how it is, and that is part of learning itself. So yeah, that is kind of what I'm doing. That's a version of what I'm doing. Um, I would recommend the manga to artists. Bakuman. It's a very fun manga, man. Like very cool. And there are other artists, manga artists that are also trying to do well. So there's a sense of camaraderie among the artists. There are artists that are just starting out. There are artists that have been in the game for a long time and never really made it. So they're still struggling, and they are still like assistant artists. Assistants, they still work as assistants, yeah, in the story. And there are those that are just getting their huge break. So he just there's a lot of dynamics. So I believe the manga artist was Takashi Obata, the guy that did Death Note. So I don't think I really pulled the expression of this enough. The mouth should definitely be longer or wider. If you are just tuning in, please just give the video a like. Uh, we're trying to get to 2K subscribers and hopefully get likes, 10 likes in this live stream. So just help me out. Yeah, so I think I feel a bit more better with that. I feel a bit better with that. Yeah, yeah. The eyes should definitely be bigger. Um, that is sort of my process, though. And you always make adjustments. It's the same way whenever I paint portraits. I would make a decision, it would be the wrong one, and then I'll adjust on the fly. And most times I wouldn't even spot the mistake until I'm like actually painting it, like applying the colors. So like it's cool. It's just that like art in general takes time. So be patient with yourself if you're not finishing an entire manga page in 30 minutes or 30 seconds. All right, so the ear ending all the way at the mouth. Ideally, the ear, usually the line for the ear, for drawing the ear, it starts at the brow line, right? And then it ends at the nose. Am I right? Yes, at the nose, the bottom of the nose. But because of the angle of the head, the positioning of this ear can vary. It can vary. And I won't lie, up to this date, I haven't figured it, out perfectly. So I just use references, so I would just take a picture of my own self. That is how I walk around it. That's how I walk around it. And yeah. Anyways, I'm just seeing the mistakes I'm making now. Yeah, I think my brain has begun cooking. I started frying. I should really develop better endurance when drawing. Yeah, I'm going to detail that better when I move on to detail the ink. Well, anyways, yeah, the neck, that's a thick neck, man. Then the other part of the ear here. I swear, these things could look really weird sometimes. Mm, yeah, I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to work on it. I'm definitely going to work on it because it's not looking good. It doesn't cut it. Yeah, anyways, yeah, let me just detail it, add more. Ooh. Oh my. Damn. What's the time? Oh, it's 12 a.m. How long ago you? Not that long. I won't be on that long. So now I'm just like inking it. I'm not working on a new layer because I I'm just too lazy to do that, man. So I have his iris and his pupil, and then I mean there's a really reason it's called study. Study has never been a comfortable activity. It's because you are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So you can see the consistency with how he does his eyebrow in terms of the texture. I've not seen it, how he does it with women. So, you know, it might be a bit different than how he does it with men. Because it's sort of the same, it might be the same thing with how, Boichi does his own. Anyways, it just makes it simple and just puts simple vertical lines around, and the eyebrows are pretty close. So what I do sometimes is that the hatching, I'll I'll just make them look like shapes because sometimes they can get a bit much and confusing. So you just do a simple shape from where you are so that to just go across like that. So very simple. Same thing here. Just do one that just goes across like this. And then same thing here. Just follow the shape. And yeah, you have a good wrinkle and creasing around the eye. So we have his eye bags over here. Can definitely do better than that. So I'm just going to try and be consistent with this. So there's also the vertical hatching line here. Yeah, a lot of hatching lines he employs. They're still simple. They're still simple in comparison to like other artists that I've seen. And seeing this, then the eyelashes, eyelashes. Simple like that. Really, I should make it better, but right. I'll say it's okay. Then these hatching lines are actually what adds character to the work. They add a lot of character to the work. Right, so you can see how this is connecting to the mouth. Very important to take note of the light direction that they are painting from, because if the characters were to be exposed to a different light source, it would be a whole lot more different. And see how the artist actually draws that. So I'm just put this all right. So we have this shape. You can see how the shapes are changing. Yeah. You can see just these two panels has taken a lot of time in terms of like the hatching. And we'll just move on to the lips here like this. It gets better with time. It gets better with time. But I'm having fun. But for some people, it can be a bit boring because of the fact that you have to do it multiple times. That's why, like, to sort of get a sense of fulfillment, what you could do is that you could just insert your own character in this pose. You could insert your own character rather than just doing the character that is already here or is being created. So in that way, it's sort of like you're doing your own character study. So now about the teeth, like I talked about before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Box teeth over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so taking note of that. Don't just draw the whole entire teeth that you're looking at. You try to apply some depth by using dark shadows around the teeth. So just made simple. And then you could just at this upper higher area, just put in a bit of dark edges here. Yeah, and the teeth is going to look a bit realistic, or a bit more realistic rather. So he has lighter. It's, take note of the strength of the hatching lines, the strength of the hatching lines, and the direction, and then he then makes the other cross hatching lines a lot more um, thicker. A lot more thicker. And I've sort of achieved that effect that I was looking for. So with this, what would you call this area beneath the mouth, you can sort of follow the level of darkness around. That's looking good. It's not looking exactly like the character, but we are sort of following it step by step. So you can see that it actually takes time to get it done. Definitely, INUOE will be faster than me in what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't take time regardless. Yeah, it still takes time. So mm, yeah, so about this dark side of the neck, then yeah, you can see how light his lines are. So looking at his cheekbone, imagine the hair is over here. Please, if you're just coming in, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification icon so that you know when I drop a new video. So it's an intense moment, and the lack of black and color in the hair is sort of insinuating that. Anyways, let me correct a lot of the mistakes I've made with regards to this. So the ear, it's stopping at the bottom of the mouth. Yeah, so simple. Goes all the way down like this, and then let's do the hatching. It's easier to hatch when you have the shape of the hatching line. Yes. Mm, yeah, you can just see how much dynamic that makes the ear to look. The hatching technique. Yeah, it looks nice. It could be better, but we're good like that. Same thing I talked about the level of intensity in terms of how he like like this area of his ear. Ideally, it would be black, but it's not. All right, let me fix the other ear. I'm going to definitely going to wake up in the morning and not like what I've drawn. All right. Because apparently I should have made that mouth more expressive. I didn't get the expression of the character. I definitely didn't. I can of course adjust it in terms of warping it. That's one thing we can do. Yeah, still looks terrible though. But we sort of got the intensity a little bit. All right. Right, so the edges of the hatching lines are, you can get very thick. So there's just a lot going on here in terms of direction, line direction. And you can see the line is going all the way like this. Battery's dying. Let me charge it real quick. Yeah. So let me see. So you can see, like, even the hatches are so, they're really complex, man. I can't lie. I guess we sort of make it longer. And then make some parts of it, I guess, like this, I think. And then what else? that's actually that's not great, but yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll probably develop better in the future, but yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. I guess that's part of the learning learning journey. You're bound to look confused and stupid a lot of the time, I think. So we have this first hatch variation following the form, and then we have another hatch that like sort of stems from that area, I think. I just have to make it a bit more. Yeah, probably. It doesn't look great, but all right. Let me just add a bit of. I've spent a lot of time on this side of the work. Yeah, I definitely should do better. Mm, yeah, looks nice, man. Looks nice. Anyways, I didn't get it exactly. There are probably some wrong proportions. There's definitely a lot of wrong proportions, but it's something I can sit down and fix. But I don't want to, so I'm just picking what I can and then moving on to the next thing. Which is what I'm doing here. So yeah, so I made this sort of montage of like different expressions. It's where I go to for references and stuff when I'm drawing. Um, when I'm drawing. Uh, I think I was asking a question about the eyebrows of women, the way he draws them. So I guess it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Let me see. What can I draw? I probably should draw a pose this time. I probably should draw a pose. So when he's drawing a full pose, the details are going to be much more reduced in comparison to when he's drawing a close-up. Well, I guess that's the same for all comic book artists in general. So let me just do this one real quick. I think I'll stop there. Irrespective of the fact that I took a long time to get this done. So I'm just gonna do this. When I'm doing pose, I do my pelvis. Yeah, so I sort of know where it's going. So we're having a bit of a curve over here, and then one more curve over here like this. Guess, and then for the arms, right, they go this way first, and then there like this, very simply, and then I use my simple shapes to get the pose, and then draw the rest of the fingers. At least that's how I do it. Yeah, so first tube, then the second tube, which is foreshortened, There's a bunch of tube which is for shortened. And then yeah, like this, like this, like this, like this. Yeah, I've drawn the arm. The angles can be quite confusing sometimes. But you have to do them so that you get better. If not, it's going to be difficult to actually get better. Anyways, so that's my sketch. I'm just going to like detail it a bit. This time it's probably going to look let me just put this excited. Not looking good so far. Well, let's keep going. You can see how I just simply just adjusted that. Really good. And then the hatching lines. Made it simple. Alright, and then okay. Yeah, so I guess we got that on the just adding the hair. Just adding the hair quickly. It still goes on to add the details, even despite how far away the character is. Just do this like this, real quick. I guess that looks okay. Then and you can see all the simple hatches that it just uses and to define the parts of the body and the muscles around each part. Very simple, but it just makes the work look rich. And my neck is starting to hurt, man. Looks like this will be the last one. So we have, let me just add a little bit of that. And then our triceps, the way down here. That's nice. Look at the line weights, man. Of course, you could just achieve it with a simple G pen. But it takes practice to get, that good. To show you how good he is, look at there are the simple things that he does That just tells you that this guy knows his anatomy. Like look at the webbing on the fingers. Look at the webbing on the fingers. How he makes an attempt to add it. Apart from being a really skilled artist, the guy is actually really talented. Things you wouldn't notice if you like don't do studies of like human anatomy and stuff. Let me just add this. Yeah. Then um hello, Requiem of Silence. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing, okay. Hope you're having a nice night. You said you have a question. Why are you wasting so much time drawing this when you could be doing better things? Um, because I want to. Because I want to, man. What suggestion of better things do you think I could be doing? What's your suggestion? What's your recommendation, man? I'm doing this because I want to learn and I want to improve. That's why I'm doing it. Uh, I'm always open to your suggestion and advice and stuff. Anything that allow you to gain experience and money at the same time. Okay, gain experience and money at the same time. Okay, you mean like uh, what do you call it? You're trying to say that I could be doing something else that allows me to gain money and experience at the same time, right? Yeah, well, this is allowing me to gain, to allow me to gain money and experience. I'm gaining experience as I'm doing it, at the same time. So I'm not gaining money at the moment, but like improving my skill, of doing comics, is going to make me better. So, you know, I've still not heard of your recommendation. You've dropped a suggestion, but you've not recommended anything else. So, we're moving on to the clothes. I don't do the clothes because I sort of like clothes take time and they require you to like kind of understand, you know, like the movements of the clothes. You can, it's quite easy, like it's just like getting the shape of the direction of the light and stuff like that. And it usually depends on your reference. But I'm not doing that. I'm just focusing on the hatching on his skin. That is my area of interest in this. I could always figure out like how to do the hatching like that. All right. So always make sure that like your anatomy is correct, because if not, like especially when you're drawing like baggy clothes, like you can see the clothes are baggy, but his anatomy is still like accurate. And most times you could like have a really baggy cloth like this and it doesn't look correct because it kind of looks off, and that is usually because the anatomy itself is not um, correct. You said you own a car repair shop and you always receive different types of cars and learn something new from them every day. and I earn a good income. All right, man, I'm happy for you. So you're suggesting I open a car repair shop like you? Is that the suggestion? I wish you success, but think of something new. That's golden advice from me to you. Yeah, I appreciate your advice, man. I'll take that on the advisement. Yeah, so we're quickly doing like his quads, like his muscle. Yeah, bye. Have a nice day, man, and a good night. So because he's like undergoing like a strenuous activity, you can just see um like how his muscles are popping up. It's sort of like the same thing I did in the last study where I was talking about um what I was talking about like when I was drawing like some legs of athletes, and you can see especially the way he drew it in a way that kind of shows that the character is in motion. So yeah, and yeah, that's it. We've sort of gotten the leg. We've gotten the leg. Then the next thing is the arm. Just quickly do. All right. Got the shadow, the angle. All right. Then the arms. hmm So yeah, and that's it. And it's not exactly alike, but you can sort of see the like improvement. And whenever you do a study like this, it's not, of course, it's not going to be perfect, but whenever you create time and just like even if it's just a single page or a single character that the artist that you're looking up to draws, and then you just copy it, like even if it's just like a panel like this, you can always learn something and pick one or two things from what that artist has drawn. And that's how I do my studies, and how I learn and draw and do better illustrations with time. So I hope this video has like helped someone out. I know like it took a lot of time to actually get it done, but that takes time, and you get better and faster with each time. If you haven't, please just give the video a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2K subscribers. And you can also, there's link down for my comic book in the description. You can check it out, and I'll be live again tomorrow, and I'll look at a different artists. I'm also open to suggestions to artists that you want me to check out. So yeah, I'll do that, and I'll be live tomorrow. Have a nice day. Hope you have a nice night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.